Hey, what's up, Debbie Pebble?
Hi. Good morning. Zeus, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Yo, what's up, Zeus?
What's going on, Rob?
So, thank you so much, MaNemZeus and DebbiePebble. They're both two content creators that have been around here in the community for a long time, been streaming on Twitch, started out doing IRL, Pokemon Go streams. Pretty much that's where a lot of the community built itself up over the years. Now, PvP is obviously the main thing, but if you would take a moment, if you would like to say a thing or two or introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Zeus. I've been playing Pokemon Go since 2017. I've been creating content mostly on Twitch since about 2000, since around 2019, and I mostly do IRL grind. But once in a blue moon, I can do PvP here and there whenever the weather's kind of crappy over here.
I'm Debbie Pebble. If you can't figure it from the accent, I'm Australian. I have been streaming on Twitch. I'm gonna say 4? Is it 4 years? I can't. I'm too. I'm a
Probably.
boomer. I'm a boomer now. Yeah, just basically, definitely did some IRL streams. Still doing them occasionally, but the internet in Australia is awful. And yeah, just I call myself a casual, and everyone laughs when I say that, but I feel like I am compared to some others. So it's just more I just play how I want to play the game. I try not to stress out about it. It's not meant to be a stress kind of mechanism for me, and yeah, I just try to see the positive in the game and just enjoy where I can with it. And yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
What does Pokemon mean to you personally?
So to answer your question in like what does Pokemon mean to me, encompassing in one word would be comfort. I think it's something that's always been comfortable. Whether it was like me as a 10-year-old watching the anime series, whether it's me picking up my first Pokemon Red, whether it's me opening TCG. Um, it's just something that's really like this like wholesome, comforting aspect of the game. Like I think that's what like Go was appealing, was just like, oh, like all the hype before 2016 when they were going to release this game. I'm just like, I get to play the game that I grew up with on my phone. I was just like, this is great. Like I would fully support that. So I feel like you always know what you're coming back to. You know the ethics, you know the values, you know like the Pokemon itself. Like it's something warm, something fuzzy, something comfortable that there's nothing out there to like scare you to, I suppose, like there's no surprises, let's put it that way. That it's, in my opinion, that's that. It's just kind of like I get warm fuzzy feelings when I think about Pokemon. And every single Pokemon that comes out, like I feel like it would be someone's favorite. Like even though it might not be my favorite, like every Pokemon that comes out is someone's favorite, which is I think remarkable when you think about how many Pokemon there is out there. So yeah, that's my summary of that.
Would you say that maybe an element of like nostalgia too, maybe? Like growing
Oh,
up with it
100%.
is like where the
100%.
comfort.
And I think like, you know, eh, whether that's a form of escapism, and that, people just want to run away from their everyday problems and then just like put themselves into that, which I feel like has happened during this COVID period of time, that everyone really got into Go. I mean, like they were so successful during that period of time. I mean, I could go into detail about remote raid passes and things like that, and they pivoted
That's
and
true, yeah.
changed, and we can go into detail. But my point is that they made a lot of money, and a lot of people just like the amount of people that were just staring at their phones during that period of time just so that they could escape from
Or
the
even have social
problems of the
interaction,
world.
right? Like
Yeah.
very interesting for sure. I definitely think like especially with like Pokemon, I think even the cards got more popular over the pandemic as
Mhm.
well.
Oh,
Like people
100%.
unpacking
Why,
them.
why are these cardboard pieces so expensive? Like just shiny pieces of cardboard, but they're going for so much. It's ridiculous. I literally have never opened a card pack until this year. Like I never got them as a kid. Like they were just an expense that, my family couldn't afford. It was just like an extra thing. And when I was given them, I didn't even buy them. I was given to like Pokemon Company were like, here's some cards for you to open. I'm like, what do I do with these? Like I literally
Yeah.
had a card opening like video the other day of me like trying to do the like count the 4, put it back,
Oh,
and then
nice.
reveal. And I was just like, I just pulled the back card first, and I was like, ah.
Well,
But my point is, yeah, it's just yeah, definitely it's enjoyable.
yeah, like even
But
though
yeah,
you don't
definitely
do it
was
that
just
often, you had fun opening them, right? Like it was like the dopamine still gets going
oh,
off.
100%. It's all about the dopamine. It's all about the dopamine.
True.
I think like with Pokemon in general, it just allows me to able to like, you know, be my own reality. Sometimes I, feel like there's a lot of things going on with my life. A lot of like background noise, here and there. And with Pokemon in general, it basically puts yourself in your own world and whatever path you want to take, you just, go with it. And I've been playing the main series games since around well, I think around like Gen 5, Gen 5, Gen 4. And again with Pokemon Go, since like 2017, and just, putting yourself as a trainer and, be, accomplishing whatever goals you want to accomplish, and keep on going and going and going, catch on these mons, yada yada yada. It feels great to be, a trainer as yourself. And um, Pokemon has been specifically for the past 4 or 5 years has been a an overall and big part of my life. On that note,
How often do you play Pokemon Go?
Do we start
okay.
playing the song? Like
I know, right? Like, I'd like to think I don't play it every day, but I do.
It's every
Um,
day. Like I'm
yeah.
not I'm not doing several like back in the day, yeah, I'd be like, all right, I'd look at my phone and see how long I've been using the app. I'm like, I haven't been using that many hours. I have. But generally, if it's not an event day, I'm doing less these days. But it's just purely because of work. Like I just have my like plus going on in the background and just open check. That's pretty much it. Do a couple of raids during raid hour. But yeah, it's plainly for events or just GBL these days. So, but back in the day, yeah, it was. It was really consuming. I'd be like, oh, I need to get enough candies to evolve some Pidgey. Like it was yeah, it was all very encompassing. But yeah, I feel like I'm not on it as much, but that's just me. I don't know if that's for everyone, but for me at the moment it's less.
Well,
I see you out there grinding.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't really lie. Um,
I
I
just look at
mean,
Zeus's hours. I was like, oh, yep.
Dude, like some
yeah.
of your accomplishments in the game are insane.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Someone like I was watching like Nara May, another content creator here, and he's been like he was discussing like last year's like in terms of like content creators for 2021, and he mentioned that I had like the like third most hours um streamed for Pokemon Go, and that was mostly just literally just IRL. So like for me, I play every day. I will admit that. Even on like Mondays, where it's usually my day off. Um, Normally for stream, wake up at 5:30, start stream at 8:30 until like 2 or 3. Winter season, I can like double those hours if I want to. Um, so like like Monday through Saturday about like 6, 7 hours. Sometimes I do like evening grind, like I'm on bike for like an extra 2 hours. But yeah, I would say around 6 or 7, like every day, except for Mondays. I just casual, we'll say.
On that same note, like obviously, I think we all probably at least open the app once a day, whether it to be like to catch something, do a rocket balloon, whatever, battles. Do you feel obligated to play every day?
I feel like I've definitely gone through definitely in the last year phases of just not opening the game. And is there power behind that? I don't even think about that, to be honest. It was just more like I had priorities on.
Yeah.
It wasn't my priority. Pokemon is just there as a distraction for me. So like, if I'm at a doctor's appointment. Oh, flip it out. Yep, there's a Welma. Sweet. Like,
True.
might as well do something with my time. If you're on the bus, whatever. Like, it's if I'm on a drive, I'll put my plus on and go for a drive like to work. It's just something that's kind of ticks in the background.
That's a good point. It's like a passive
But
thing, right?
yeah, maybe something that's sitting idly, really. But I think what was your question in regards to like, is there FOMO aspect? Not for me right now. If you asked me 3 years ago, probably I would say yes. And unfortunately, I think with the shiny rates and egg hatches and just being disappointed over time, it's just kind of like no. Like it used to be like I need to get this shiny, I need to get this. Back in the day, I just feel like that's not applicable anymore. Like it's just more like try your luck, see how you go, because we knew that shinies weren't guaranteed, but it was getting ridiculous to a point where like certain Pokemon were locked behind basically
like eggs or
you have
raids
to,
or something.
yeah, something that you need to buy. And
Yeah.
I'm just like got to a point where I was like, well, I'm a full functioning adult. Like, am I really gonna spend like, X amount of money on this? And there's nothing wrong. Everyone should spend their money how they want to spend that. This is not me commenting on them. This is me commenting on me.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to, let's say get a hundo shiny Yveltal that's coming out, am I going to spend, do I put a budget? Some people don't put a budget. And that's where I thought that it was getting a little bit almost like predatory. And like I said, with eggs, it was getting like to that loot box kind of like stage of not really telling you like what are the odds of getting, let's say, a shiny Riolu.
Yeah.
Just things like that I was just kind of like, I can't support this. Like, so me personally, again, so I just given up on certain aspects of the game when it comes to that. I'm just like, if I get one, I get one. But that's great. If I don't get one, it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to get upset of it. I'm not going to waste more time getting upset of something that I didn't get that's not really guaranteed.
I think that's a good perspective to have because you're drawing the line in the sand for yourself while you're not going to like criticize others for wanting to maybe go the extra mile, because obviously other people might have different situations, maybe they're more capable of spending the money, maybe that's what brings them joy. So I understand where you're coming from. It's definitely important to create boundaries for yourself and definitely know how to make the game work for you as well instead of you work for the game.
Before, like when I first started playing, Pokemon Go, between like 2017 and I think, yeah, until like midsummer 2020, I used to play like every single event, every single CD, every single Safari Zone, Go Fest, whatever it was. And like I had the mindset where I had to do everything, otherwise, I'll miss the legacy move, I miss the shiny, I miss the legendaries, the legacy moves now, and it adds more and more and more. But like now, I've gone like mostly like free to play. So like I do, stream every day. But like if there are days where I just don't feel like I want to play Pokemon Go, all right, I'd rather do, I'll just do GBO or I'll just not stream at all. Um, and like uh like before, um like I had like an issue where I felt like I was like getting way too focused too much on like on my phone in the game itself, and like when remote raids were being added to the addition to the game, like everybody was just spending a lot of money, more and more and more, and I felt like I was kind of like missing out of it. So like I got into like you know the mindset of just like I gotta participate, spend money here and there over and over and over, which caused me to go like in a hiatus that year. So right now I just if it's an event that I enjoy, I put any hours in. If it's the event that I particularly don't care, I'll play. I don't when it comes to stream purposes, I try not to be like a Debbie Downer. Um, but yeah, I'm just yeah, that's pretty much.
Interesting choice of words.
Yeah.
I can't help my name, okay? It's on my birth certificate. I can't
I'm a
help
Debbie
it.
Pebble, not a Debbie Downer.
Exactly right.
I feel that 100% though. And it kind of actually this will help segue into the next couple questions. I think you both of you have kind of partially answered this already, but just to like kind of hone in on it, what is the best way, in your opinion, to play Pokemon Go? And this could be, how you spend your time, or even alone or with friends, social, or battle. Are you a battler? Do you prefer to just grind, like casually collect things?
I think there is no right answer to that question. And it's going to be very reflective on the person and what they are at heart like happy with. Because some people will just do it because other people are doing it. And it's just much like in life, honestly.
Yeah.
If we take it Pokemon out of context, it's just like, people will do it because others, and we're like, oh, that person's doing 50 raids. I'm going to do 50 raids as well. I'm like, well, do you really want to do 50 raids? Like, oh, no, because they're doing 50 raids. I want to do 50 raids. I'm just like,
That's true.
Okay. I personally, I can only reflect on myself. So I personally just play it how I want to play it. So I look at my priorities in life and be like, okay, what's important? Family, friends, events, things like that. I like community events, things like that in person. I will prioritize that over streaming. So I'd rather go out and be like, okay, cool, it's a community day outside with friends. Great, I'll go with them. And it might be in a car, it might be in a park, whatever. If I can stream it, great. But if they're kind of like, I don't want to be in your stream, that's fine. I won't stream. Because really, like, that's more important to me than the game. But like if it's like not in the, if those are out of play and I've got free time, then yeah, I'll solo it and just go across and play, like walk around the park, do my daily incense or whatever. Yeah, it's just it fits into my life, not I fit into that game life, if that makes sense. That's how I'm working it at the moment, because really, like, what's more important in life, like in my opinion, this is how I sit with my values, but not everyone has that. So some people will get swayed and be like, yep, this is how I should play it, and therefore this is be all and end all. I'm like, that's cool, that's all right. Like, you got to find your way, and it's ending up like a very philosophical like conversation. But like my point is,
I was about to say
like
maybe some of the people grinding the game, maybe they desire like that social aspect, but they don't know how to go about it, and maybe they think by earning things in the game, like they gain like that social or that recognition.
absolutely.
So maybe some people don't even know exactly how to go about what they want in the game, or I don't know.
think
That's
some
what I was
people do.
thinking.
I think some people just do it for the heart of it. I think ultimately this game has been saved by communities.
Yeah.
And I think there's community leaders, and I'm so happy that Niantic is actually getting and rewarding these community leaders in their program that they've released or in the process of, because that's really the crux, I find, of Pokemon Go, is basically creating communities, whether online, whether in person, but it's, we're nurturing each other into it. Without those communities, this game would have been gone, let's be honest. Like, if it's an individual game, nah.
Yeah.
The grind, people will stop the grind a while ago.
Like there isn't a correct answer. With this game, there are many different styles that you can approach. But for me, in my opinion, it's like whatever you feel that day. If you feel like you wanna grind 6 or 7 hours a day, go for it. If you wanna do GPO, go for it. Um, if you wanna hang with your homies, during CD and hang out together, you can do that. Um, I try to stay away on like telling other people like what is the correct way of playing Pokemon Go, because there is no answer to that. For that question, it's however you wanna approach it, however you wanna um accomplish whatever, and it's a game with endless amounts of opportunities, and some people prefer to play solo, right? That's fine. Some people prefer to play with a group of people. That's also fine. At the end of the day, as long as the game is not affecting, whatever you gotta do with your IRL stuff, affecting, personal life, and people around you, then go for it.
That's a good answer, yeah. Is the gameplay loop good?
I
I'm not
think
going to
it's
answer.
good-ish.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. I don't think it's great, but it's better than what it was.
Hmm.
I think 2016 days, that was suffering, wasn't it? Then PvP came out, and then obviously GBL came out, and then XL Candy came out. So now I feel like endgame wise is getting the best mons to play GBL. And there may be something else after GBL. Maybe we won't have GBL forever as well. There might be some sort of like league or something like that. I mean, like Silpha getting involved now these days. So
Yeah.
who knows what will be in the near future when it comes to that. But I think your time candy, like getting candy investment to certain mons with certain IVs, I don't think that will go away. It will be very silly for them to change that formula right now. Like, I think in the beginning of PvP, people didn't want to invest because it was like, why would I want to invest in a 0, 15, 15 Pokemon when they're probably going to change the formula like down the track? So there was like probably several mons that I just got rid of because I'm like, that's not going to be relevant. Then they kind of stuck with it. I'm like, oh, okay, am I going to invest Stardust into this? Because we know Stardust is the most important economy of the game.
Yeah.
And yeah, at this moment in time, it's better than 2016. Do I think it's great? No. Do I think it's good? I suppose. Like, it's better than what it was, but it's like I don't know the right answer to make it better. I don't know what I could give feedback at the moment to make like the game loop better, because as they release more Pokemon eventually, and then they release the shiny version of it, then they release the hat version of it,
Yeah.
and then they release like
I think that's
the bow
probably
version of it, and I'm like, well, what's after that? What's after that?
Yeah, I think that in itself is kind of an issue because it's like such a it's very repetitive, the gameplay loop, which I think at its basis it's good, but the fact that they like put out so many layers of content that just streamline through the same like gameplay loop, but then they just unlock a new feature, like that's kind of annoying. But it's been like that for years, and it's like
it's nothing new right now.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's what we're missing. Like, it's nothing that like no introduction to some like daily incense. Great, I honestly think that was like really well implemented. Like, good on you, Michael, for that one. Because I think that was brilliant. But we need something. I don't know what, but we need something that's a little bit like left of field to just make it like a bit more adventurous again.
You know, because in the main series games, they have little side things that aren't normally as popular, but like contests, for example. You know, things that you could do with your Pokemon that aren't just battling.
I have an idea that I would love to see happen one day, and is in main series games, and it's when you get a berry and you plant it and you get more berries.
Yeah.
And
yeah, like what if you could have a garden?
Why can't we have a garden somewhere and just be like, cool, I can drop all my excessive pineapple berries that I have for days and just drop it in there, and it can grow like 5 more. I'm like, yep, cool, or whatever. Like, or crossbreed and a new one would come out, whatever.
Yeah, or like you get like silver pinups that way. And golden razzes, like you said.
Or like, you know, if you have a buddy that's a grass type, it will grow faster, whatever. Like, mega evolve your Abomasnow, and suddenly you have like a special type of berry. I don't know. Like, you know,
I think like
they have so much room.
Yeah, I think when I think about what you're saying, it makes too much sense that would be good for a player. But I feel like, how would they monetize something like that? You know, and I think that's where a company like Niantic would. Like, that's what drives majority of their implementation of new features, right?
But let's say you plant a berry or whatever, and it attracts a Pokemon, but they drop an egg, right? And then you suddenly have this egg, and then hey, incubators. I really would love to do something more with the items that we have that we just kind of bank. Like it feels just useless sometimes to have things in excess. But yeah, that's just my opinion of it. I just like those little aspects of the game where I'm just like, you know, hey, and the other thing that would be really awesome, breeding. Like, hey, breeding.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's a very like a decade away. I don't know. Like,
it's
hard.
It's kind of hard to think they would ever implement stuff like that because it just like goes against what they're doing right now. Personally, I don't think Niantic will ever create a way to change IVs or breed, because I feel like with so many years of the system being the way it is, it would probably push away more players than gain, if that makes sense. Like I feel like all the loyal players would be upset that like how many years of them doing something and now it's more accessible or easier for new players. Which
But
personally I'd be
it
willing for that to
happens though,
happen. Yeah, true.
because
But
like for example, shinies or com days that come back around again, they came back around. So people just like, oh, I've been holding on to this mudkip from like com day 2018 or whatever it is, and then we did a classic. So everything gets recycled, everything comes back. So if it's a new player coming in, they should really pick up the game quite easily and quite well.
true.
But if you go for PvP, that's the difficult part.
Is the gameplay loop good? In my opinion, I don't really think so. The reason why I say that is that um, with the events that they've been, releasing here for like the past couple years, it's been the same setup over and over and over. So like one events how do I say one event will be like new shinies, and then maybe like a new mon, and then the next event will be the same thing over and over and over again. And eventually, with the setup that they are doing, they will be, running out of contents, and that's where again costumes and costumes and costumes of like 5,000 different versions of freaking mons are releasing. And like in my opinion, I've been playing this game for like what 5 years. Is I'm slowly losing motivation with the game, with the way that's set up. I have been enjoying. They have been trying like different things, like um when you like make an excellent, nice, or like great throw, you get like a higher chance of getting resources, yada yada yada.
I
So
like that too.
they've been adding like nice side bonuses, and I think that will help not just like the casual players, but also the hardcore players who've been playing the game, over and over repetitive. It gives them more of a reason to stay in the game. I feel like um, with the way that this is out and about here setting up, um, I'm hoping that they can find other means, just to like for events to not apply to just like the new players, right? Like recycling old content over and over and over, um, which is nice because those new players, right? Everything's new to them, legs and moves all new to them, and all yada yada yada. But for the people who've been playing the game for such a long time, right? It's just like another, random event or whatever. And it would be nice if an event has things that can apply to both, returning players, new players, and people who have been playing here for a long time. Uh, and I think that, in my opinion, is like all around, a good like style of an event to be held in Pokemon Go.
Will the game lose player interest if and when all the Pokemon are released?
The answer to that is I don't know. And because when does Pokemon stop? We've got Scarlet and Violet coming out, right? What comes after that? I feel like there's going to be when is that time?
True.
Because when are we going to actually get like stop making Pokemon? Because I feel like it's going to keep going.
Yeah.
Do you think Pokemon Go? Well, I guess like the question would be like, would Pokemon Go ever catch up to the current Pokedex, or will it always like slow drip behind the main series games?
They're doing slow drip now.
Yeah.
They're doing it now. Like you can see where I think initially they were doing all the gens. They're like, yeah, Gen 1, Gen 2, smash it out, right? Now it's everything's a slow drip. Like when Scarlet and Violet come out, they'll put out a little bit here and there. They'll drop a Smoliv, they'll drop something else in, just like tease you a little bit. But then after that, nah. No, it will take its time. I mean, even now, like we're only getting Ultra Beasts now.
Yeah.
And that's not all the Ultra Beasts. They only and then you've got regional Ultra Beasts. Like I was just like when they did that, I was like really, ugh. But anyway,
Yeah.
because then remote raid passes come back in. This is where the flow comes back in again. Like, yeah. So will people lose interest? It's just longevity. Like there is going to be attrition regardless because like people are going to stop playing the game for whatever reason because of life and everything in general. So I think they're going to be there'll be a point where I feel like they'll lose more players and gain more players, if that makes sense. And they just need to nurture the ones that are still going to be loyal and still remain, which I think, like I said, building the communities and things like that, because there's not, in my opinion, I don't know the numbers. But in my opinion, I don't think there's a lots of new people coming into the game. I think there's a lot of people returning players. That's not new people. I think there's returning players. But if there's someone that's like off chance, oh, I'm going to download Pokemon Go today, I feel like that's like I rarely hear it.
Is there an update in the game that you remember that you favored that just kind of got you pumped? Maybe, you know, after a couple years of playing, there was an update and it just got you like, oh, yeah, this is great. I'm so happy I've still continued playing.
Well, I don't know if this will count, but I think, in my opinion, well, besides like the appraisal IV change, that
Oh, yeah.
completely made my storage cleanup so much faster than before, not having to have to press like 3 or 4 buttons, this, that, and then finally get to like, oh, those are the IVs, all right. But I think
Seems so obvious
um
now.
I think with Wayfair, remember when the game came out, right? Um, like in order to get new like gyms,
Oh,
Pokestops,
yeah.
you had to go to Ingress, which is another game from Niantic, and you had to be at a certain level. And the levels in Ingress is completely more difficult than here for Pokemon Go. But I feel like, in my opinion, when they added the Wayfair to be compatible with Pokemon Go, I think is like for me one of the biggest updates out of all for the past like 4 or 5 years, due to like with Wayfair for Pokemon Go, um, you literally have the power. Like not many games allows you to do this, where the user is able to, basically add new features, add new things to the game. With Wayfair, you can make any, as long as you have like, significant stuff that you think that is worthy posting, um, you're able to just change your whole playing field. And not only you're helping the game, you're also helping other people with other 19 games. And you go from having nothing to just plethora of gyms, Pokestops, or portals, what are you going to call them? And when I was, when Wayfair was first added to the game, I had one, like the first mile of the boardwalk. So I play from Atlantic City, New Jersey, on the boardwalk. And the first mile, right before you get to the first casino, there was nothing. There was only like 3 or 2 Pokestops on the first mile. So my friend and I ended up just, taking like 2 or 3 days, did some research, learned more about the city as I was doing it, and we went from having 3 Pokestops to now having 25 and within the first mile. And it's
Wow.
just, during Team Rocket Choker events, it just adds up. I'm like doing so much grunts over and over and over, and it's endless spawn. So I think, to answer that question, I think just Wayfair, man, has
That's a
been
good
the biggest
That's a
update
good
for me.
answer. Honestly, I almost forgot about that. Like, yeah, that's a great
Hmm.
answer.
Something that kind of kept me, oh, I was actually very excited about was Mega Evolution. Now, when it got first released, it was not great. That you had to raid for it, you have to get mega energy. I'm like, what's this new candy thing? This whole implemented. And I'm coming from like a background where I've watched the anime series and like, um, and it was more like, you have a stone, they have a stone, like, you create a friendship bond, and then you can basically turn it, like activate it whenever you want. So when they actually did that change recently where megas are basically, once you've unlocked it once, you've unlocked it, and now you've got like a buddy level system with them, I'm just like, I don't need to raid these anymore. I don't like, I just need to make my 200, do one raid, because one raid will, like,
Hmm.
if you've got some friends, that's enough now. And then if I really want to do, I got spare, and then I can just keep mega evolving it every day and get my buddy to 3 hearts really quickly. And I'm just like, it's something that has gone from something that was going to be very expensive to do to basically it doesn't cost you anything. Like, you could just use your daily pass to do it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really good change, a really change in perspective for them to basically make something like don't make everything behind a paywall. So I enjoy it when they listen to feedback and try and make these things a little bit more excitable, and always getting shinies for something like Megas is never really on my list of like rating, but like now because of that I'm just like, oh, okay, yep, I only need the Mega Energy, I'm gonna do it. I'll do it once and then that's it. Like I don't need to do more. And the bonuses of having a Mega, like your extra candy, and all
The
those
extra
other
XL
benefits
is
as
really
well.
nice.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, like this is
It's
great. Whereas
significant. The
where
extra
XLs
XL.
before,
Yeah.
like, was just terrible. Like to obtain an XL candy was just the rates were. I like the introduction of XL candy. I understand it's meant to be rare, but
Yeah.
when it was first introduced, that was ridiculous. Of how stupidly rare it was. So
Yeah.
now it's still rare, but it means that you just got to work for it.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's more pathways now. Like Zeus was
Mm.
saying in the last event, if you threw like excellent, you had a higher chance to get like more XL, which I personally like that feature. There's a lot of features they implement during the season of Alola that I wish were almost permanent, like guaranteed
Permanent.
XL from
Agreed.
trades, like
Yes,
that.
that.
Like just like all the little mechanics to get XL, I feel like it wouldn't even be OP if they just kept those in the game. Like it would actually feel more accessible.
With like also like the analysis on like the getting your mega level to like 2 or 3, and like you don't have to grind hardcore like before. It will probably take you like at least a couple weeks, and then try to get those trades in as well on top of that. But with level 2 and level 3, you can like casually play Spotlight Hour, and you can basically have enough XLs to build a new PvP mon right from the get-go. And I feel like Niantic needs to like, if they're running out of content, Niantic can always just add little bit features of like that, that applies to not just like the new players but also to current players and returning players. And by adding new features like that, I feel more motivated to play the game. I feel more or less, you know, what would be the right term? More motivated to play the game, uh, not have to like put in, a lot of hours in, just, lock down my phone to get the boosters that I need. Um, I can get it right there and then, whenever I want to, however I want to, and I can, have more time, all the hours of the day to do whatever I want.
Yeah, I feel that. In regards to like updates that you both enjoyed in the game, now let's take it on the opposite spectrum. Were there any updates in the game, whether it be a deliberate update, a glitch, or an error that occurred that made the game worse?
How long we got?
Shit, that's five or
All
ten
right,
pages of that.
top of my head, incense.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Incense. Nerfing incense from one spawn, every 50 seconds to one spawn every 5 minutes. Oh, and it was like in the period of time where COVID was still around as well. I mean, it's still around now, but as in like it was still like, killing people. Like
Yeah.
for them to do that, I felt that was really ill-timed. I think if they did it like now, like if they made that announcement right today, I'd be like, okay, yeah, everyone's like traveling, borders are open, things like that. We've just had like several Go Fest to show people turn up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's still workable if you're outside walking, but like as in stationary incense and like taking that away, I thought that was ill-timed. I think it was going to be nerfed at some point, but also to like one every 5 minutes, it killed a lot of streamers as well. We've had like, for example, Thomas, our good friend
Oh
Thomas,
yeah.
like, his incense streams and like going from like where he was to like basically it's like why bother? Like why bother putting any incense on anymore?
Yeah. It's true
So
though.
that's the peak of my list, but I could talk about it more, but I'm not going to. But yeah, they want people to go out. They want
Yeah.
people to exercise. They want people to interact and explore. It's always been Niantic's values. Like this has not changed from day dot, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So I think with COVID and everything, they had to pivot, like I said, change everything so people could play from home. But I think if anything, like I said, it was ill-timed when that change and that was released. It was also during the Heroes Niantic hashtag came out, and the distances got
Yeah.
nerfed and then like expanded back again.
But that's like a
Then
great example because they ended up keeping that
Yeah.
distance. And I feel like it's made the game better,
they
right?
did to a look. I think to a degree it has been kept, but I think for someone like me in Australia, because of how like the world sits and how the
Waiter.
radius, yeah, I feel like ours still got nerfed slightly. That it's still
Oh,
not the
wow.
same. Yeah, because I'm like, I parked my car here. I should get this Pokestop, but I can't. Like, so I feel like there was some sort of like adjustment, but like a majority of the world were okay. But I live in APAC, we always get screwed. So there's always something
Interesting. I didn't
happening.
know.
But yeah, I think it's the same with like when they talk about the S2 tiles and things like that. If it's a nearer the equator and things like that, it's a little bit more different. You can actually spin more Pokestops if you're near the equator than you are if you're further away. I live quite south.
That's interesting.
So
Interesting. I never
but
had any idea about any of this. I'm interested.
yeah, but I think you guys are probably a little bit closer to the equator than I am.
Like the first thing that came up was the Pokemon interaction distance being being reduced. But also like during remember like there was an interlude season for GBL about like 2 seasons ago, and like nothing was just going on, and like you have like a bunch of content creators on Twitch trying to like they want to play the game, but like I felt like it kept getting worse and worse and worse like every single day, and it became so bad that people have to stop streaming, or just like it just became unwatchable. Like when it comes to like Niantic just fixing things in GBL side, it just takes a long, long, long time. And right now, for the past week, I'm just seeing more and more issues with the game going on, and it's kind of sucks to see like the people who've been there playing, the game for a while. Just got sick and tired of just Niantic not fixing things like right away, and moving on to other games. So I just feel like the GBL into the season, um, just I don't know what they were doing. Maybe just it's whatever they were the way they code the game is very complicated to like fix things. Um, but I don't know, man. It's the into the season for GBL was rough. It was rough.
What is the end game of Pokemon Go currently? And I feel like Debbie already kind of touched upon this earlier, saying PvP, like collecting PvP mons, which I do feel like I agree with. But do you think that's the case also, Zeus?
I think so. Because when you first play the game, right? Um, you can't really do PvP right from the get-go. You kind of have to like get the Stardust, the resources, candies, XO candies, and that takes time. Like you actually have to, put in some time in the PvE side of the game to eventually, do PvP. And with PvP, um, what's it called? It's just like a plethora amounts of like new skills, new things to learn, and that also takes time. So I would definitely agree with Debbie having like like PvP being like the end game. There also can be like other things you can view as end game. I think it all depends like on a trainer, because again, right, there's no correct way of playing the game, so it's up to the trainer themselves on how they want to approach the game. And for some people, end games, is trying to go for like a lucky live decks, Hondo live decks, shiny live decks, and many other things. Um, but I would definitely agree that PvP is one of the, I would say, end games, um, and that's why I kind of wish when it comes to like Niantic, doing things right, fixing things, people are grinding all these resources, and then when the first thing when they hop in GBL, they start like having all these glitches and bugs, and like that doesn't
Oh
promote people
yeah.
to actually doesn't promote people to actually play the game. It just promotes people to just not touch the game and play something else that is not broken. So that's my opinion.
So I think like since we all kind of see the game as a grindy game, like we're grinding for the resources, we're grinding for Pokemon to use competitively or collection wise. So a little bit ago, I forget, like maybe a year or two, I forget how long it's been, but they added 10 more levels to the game. Would adding more levels to the game add end game content, or is it like an illusion of end game content? If that makes sense.
Ooh.
I would agree with the latter. I think it's an illusion. Because, like, level 50, do not get me wrong, is an achievement in itself. I think grinding all the XP and doing all the research, or not research, but the requirements for it. Like, some of them are quite difficult to do. So I think that's an achievement itself. The jacket's nice, the poses are nice, but that's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I haven't, like, I'm still not level 50. It's just sitting there. I'm like, I'll get there eventually, naturally, idly, like in the background, because things will just happen anyway.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm like at 49 and I'm just kind of like coasting my way there, chilling, you know. I'm not in a rush, but it's happening just by playing it.
Yeah. But however, there's some people that they're very number orientated. They want to be the first in the world. They want to be the second in the world. They want to be the first in their country. There's people that, you know, really, the medals, like the platinum medals, they're like, okay, you know, I have X amount of catches, X amount of raids, like, you know, they're very, very number orientated, and you're gonna definitely, like, something like Pokemon Go is definitely gonna target some people that are really switched for that as well. So I think there will always be something that they will want to grind to. I think it'd be good to have, honestly, like level 60, level all the way up to level 100, even 120. I you know, if it just keeps going, it just keeps going. But my point is that it's going to target a certain side of the community and not everyone.
That's a good point, yeah.
And I think like, or like, there's no really difference between like level 40 or 50. When the Golden update came out, which was the level 50, I'll be honest, I was speedrunning, I was grinding, you know, hardcore to be like, you know, up there to get there first. And I think I spent around like probably 300 or $400 on trying to get to like 40 to 50 to get those raids and rocket raiders done. Was it worth it? Definitely not. I do regret spending that much money because at the end of the day, it is literally, I don't feel any difference from hitting 40, or I felt, in my opinion, level 40 was more meaningful than uh than hitting level 50. And I feel like with 50, you do get a pose. I mean, you do get like certain, you know, you should get certain encounters from, you know, special restores, and all that stuff. But I just feel like it does give people, you know, more reason, you know, to play the game. But it's technically like end game starts when you hit like, I guess, you know, what is it, 40? Because at 40, right, you're able to use like the XL candies that you gain from level 31, and you can literally just max out Pokemons from 50 when you hit 40, and that's pretty much it. You're good to
Yeah.
go. And everything else that you get rewards wise in terms of 40 to 50, it's just extra stuff that either you eventually get, or Niantic would just, you know, release those mons down the line and you get it, without having to grind those levels. So that's just my opinion.
I would have loved it if they gave us something exclusive for like level
Oh
50 or level
yeah.
60.
Oh wow,
Like,
that's a good point.
I think it was previously like.
Well, they give you the
talked about,
clothes, but you mean like a Pokemon
I'd
or like
love
an
an
item?
extra infinite incubator.
Oh my
That'd be so
gosh,
nice.
that would be actually
Or just make it
insane.
exclusive and be like, okay, you've got your normal like infinite incubator, but you've got one that's only for 10-kilometer eggs or
Yes.
something like that.
Or like the
Like,
12, or
just
like
give
for
me
your
some.
bottom 3 that are
Yeah,
extra
give me
eggs.
Feel My Strange. Yeah, right. Just give me
Interesting.
something that no one else has that is actually something
Valuable.
substantial that will make me play the game more.
Yeah.
That is actually
That
insane. Like that's actually, that would be really good. But I don't know like what. Honestly, I love that idea. That's such a good
Like
idea.
it's just something that, you know, I think the player should be rewarded for putting that much effort or that much time into it, that it should be an exclusive item that is just there, that to be like, thank you so much for playing
And
this
it has some
game.
type of
You played this
functionality.
amount.
Like it's not just
Exactly.
cosmetic. Yeah.
But anyway, I'm good for ideas if you want to come for ideas.
Honestly, yeah. Niantic. Right here. All right, thanks Zeus, thanks Debbie.
Thank
I'll
you.
be sure to put links to their Twitch, and I'll put. I don't know if you have a YouTube, Zeus, but I know Debbie. I saw your YouTube. I'll put a. I don't know. I'll just post all that stuff down
That's all
in the
good.
description. Be sure to check them out. But yeah, thanks again for doing this. I really appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.